Alright, we are back for round 1 in this Legacy Cube with that weird, not so weird, but I guess green-blue ramp deck with opposition and a bit of white. That hand is not bad, so I can... The issue is I can fetch either white or green with polluted delta, but not both. I think I will keep. It's not great because it's lacking acceleration and I'm not doing much early on, but it's not bad either. I do have a removal and a turn 2 days, and I have 2 lands, so I don't think it's great, but it's not really bad either. Hopefully you can draw something like a Mystic Snake. I mean any type of acceleration or mana or creature. I don't have many really bad draws here. If I don't draw any land, it's gonna be bad, but other than that, I should be fine. Voyaging Satyr was a very fine draw. I cannot cast Journey now, but I do have other ways to fix for white, and this lets me cast Garruk next turn if I draw a land, and pretty nice top deck in general. And if I'm playing against a control deck, a turn 3 Garruk with a day's backup could be very scary for them. So we'll see how it goes. Brainstorm, no problem. I would assume that this will be followed up by a fetch. Brainstorm is an instant, but it's a card that most people, not most people, but people that don't know it very well play wrong. You don't really want to play that on your open turn. You often want to play that main phase and be able to fetch afterwards to get rid of the 2 worst cards of your hand. But you often see people trying to play that at the end of the turn, which is most of the time not the right choice. Alright, so I guess my opponent, Jill, is doing things with card. Apparently he or she seems happy with what he or she have. Alright, everything on top. Well, let's try to draw a land, and I did. And it's a land that I can fetch for white. How lucky. I think I'll go with Tundra. I don't really need the triple blue, but why not? Alright, I need to do that first, I guess. Alright, with the day's backup. Very sweet, very sweet. Yeah, I just paid one. What the heck? What happened? What just happened? Oh jeez, with the lag, I think oh, that's so bad. I'm quite sure that I clicked on that before I clicked on that satyr, but I think with the lag, the untapped effect happened before I tapped my land. So I just lost my turn for no reason there. Oh, that's incredibly bad, and I don't think it's me that made a mistake. I think I will check back on the video afterwards, but I'm quite sure that I clicked on Tropical Island before I clicked on Voyaging Satyr. Good lord, that was bad. Ugh. If this is a 4-drop, I'm most likely gonna... yeah, alright. That's not too hard to counter. Well, at least I don't have to put a card back in my hand. My open deck seems quite strong. Turn 3 Jace after Brainstorm and Ponder. Pretty good. Alright, so let's... Alright. I'm not sure what happened last turn. Maybe it's me that just misclicked somehow. But I'm quite sure that I clicked on my forest. I add the mana before I tried to untap it. So weird. And this might very well cost us the game, because it's 1 activation of Garruk, it's 2 less damage on the opponent. That was like really bad. Yeah, guess I'll check back, but I'm quite positive that I clicked on Tropical Island before I tried to untap anything. Or maybe it's just me, and I'm crazy. Alright, either way we are not in the worst spot here, but it's a Legacy Cube, so my opponent could very well, play something quite threatening here. 3 Knight is not too threatening given Garruk. I don't mind that too much, especially since I can use that to flip Garruk, which could be good. If I flip Garruk, I kinda need to to play Master of Wave to make sure he doesn't die. I think putting a wolf onto the battlefield and passing the turn might just be a safer play in general. This way I can keep the snake available and to block, and I can just block 2 knight, let Garruk take 2, and be fine with that. And maybe I will not be able to flip it, but just as a way to put a wolf on the battlefield each turn seems good enough to me. And if my opponent somehow tries to play something before attacking, it's gonna be even better for me. Alright, so let's do it good this time, because if I miss that, I will certainly lose the game this time. Like, not being able to cast it on turn 3 was pretty bad, but here I would simply lose the game. But I think that here we should be in a very good spot given what the opponent did and is trying to do. If he attacks, I will just block with everything. I don't mind that at all. If I draw land, I might just put a wolf, time warp, and attack again. Ooh, opposition. Well, that was pretty sick draw. Alright, yeah, I think we got the game now. Yup. Alright, that's very sweet. Yeah, that might just end up the game. I do need to tap at least 2 knights. I can probably afford to take 2. And then I can tap 2 lands. I guess I can tap the 2 white land. That seems like a decent option to me. Yeah, and yeah, I think I will do that. And I think now the opponent is really regretting that they did not attack. Alright, so let's tap that, tapping the snake. I don't think there's many things that could come from blue that would be threatening my Garruk too much. So by making sure my opponent cannot cast, any white spell, I think they are not likely to be able to kill Garruk. And yeah, if I can just untap, cast Master of Waves, this should just end the game. This is what opposition does. Pretty stupid card. Alright. What do you have, Mr. Floppy, to beat an opposition? Because next turn I will have 3 more creatures, maybe 4 more creatures if I don't have to tap the Sadir. Actually 4 more creatures because of Garruk, unless it dies, and maybe 5 more creatures. So I think this is the turn where my opponent must find a way to do something. Otherwise, they will just straight up lose. Another good reason to tap the white land is that most answer to opposition would cost white. Kodama's Reach is not going to be good enough, I don't think so. It provides my opponent with more mana, which, is good, but I will have so many creatures next turn that I don't think 2 more land is gonna matter a lot. I get 3 more land. I will have 5 more creatures basically, unless I can cast something for 2 incolored mana, which doesn't seem very likely. So I would assume that this will be game. And I also have a way to finish the game. Once I've locked my opponent, I need 1 more mana and I can cast the Whisperwood Elemental. And after that, there's just no coming back in the game, so yeah. Alright, that should be pretty good. So 3, and then yeah, alright, the opponent just conceded. That was pretty dumb. Yeah, I could even attack and still attack with 1 creature and still have enough to tap everything. Yeah, alright, well that was that was fairly efficient, I guess. Despite me probably misclicking. I'm not sure that lag could have caused me to, cause things to go in the wrong order. Maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention. Either way, given what my opponent showed, I think Spell Pierce is looking quite good. They've only played creature spells, I mean non-creature spells. So yeah, that looks pretty good. Other than that, no, I don't think there's anything I want. A mid-range creature as Scavenging Ooze against an opponent that's playing a control deck that's not using graveyard seems pretty bad, so I think it's the first thing I will cut. And that will be the main deck. Alright. Well, yeah, opposition is just broken as fuck. I'm often playing it because I find it fun and very strong, but I would not be, I would be advocating for this card going out of the cube, because the power level of that thing is just too high for the Legacy cube, I think. Alright, this is a mulligan, I cannot keep that. Opposition is already like pretty decent in Vintage cube, but in Legacy cube it's just out of hand. That's not great, but I think I will keep it. I don't think going to 5 is gonna be great. Hopefully I can get a white. Or Frail is pretty good, I can cast it off my 4 lands and the Sadir on turn 4, which is not the best thing to do, but it is what it is, I guess. Alright. Scry 1, put a card on top. Sure. Not sure that having a slow start against my opponent deck is gonna be very good for me. It might just cost me the game, but mulliganing to 5 doesn't seem like a very good option. Ponder is fine. So my opponent is playing the same colors as me, but more towards a blue-white control deck. And they seem to have a very solid deck. I mean, last game opposition pretty much crushed them, but Ponder and Brainstorm are pretty good in general. Most of the cantrip are quite awesome in the cube, because the higher the power level is, the better these kind of cards are. I'm just gonna check what my opponent did. Okay, shuffled the library. And their deck seems pretty good. And if I'm not doing things early on, that might be quite bad for me. I drew Whisper with the Elemental though, which I think is pretty nice. Anything that's threatening is good, like Freyalise, Tromorca, and so on and so forth. I think I will attack with that. It's slightly annoying if they have Condemned, which can destroy, put an attacking creature on the bottom of my library, but other than that, there's not many removal that would punish me from attacking. I guess there's a few instant flash creatures in those color. Not so sure though. Yeah, I mean 1 damage might or might not matter, but I don't think there's, as I mentioned, I don't think there's a lot of instant card that would actually punish me. I will just not auto-heal during my opponent turn. So if he chooses to cast something on second main phase and see if I'm auto-yielding or not, because you can see that, you can definitely see that. We might be able to do something. They might just play Jace with 1 mana backup to play around Daze, which would be a good play. Thragtusk is good, but it's not the most threatening thing for me to face. Alright, well I have a bunch of choices there. I think that getting Glen Elendra onto the battlefield and being able to use it is very important. That card seems awesome against my open deck. And I think I will maybe take a few damage from the Thragtusk, but I think if I can resolve that, I should be in a very good spot. It's not the most efficient way to affect the board, but it will protect anything else that I play. Because, like, let's say I play Freyalise and put an elf to block the Thragtusk, and then my opponent plays Elfplat, gives that flying, kill my Freyalise. I've pretty much lost the game at that point, so I think playing that is just a better option. Same thing, they play Jace, bounce my token, kill Freyalise, it's awful for me. So I think it's just, ooh, well, Yeah, alright. Well, that's probably one of the only card in my opponent deck that would really punish me for playing the Archmage. Not much I can do about that, though. Because given what I've seen game 1, playing Glen Elendra before anything else was definitely the right play. It just happens that my opponent has the perfect answer for the Archmage, which, yeah, I just cannot do anything about, unfortunately. Alright, well, I guess I'll play Whisperwood now. There's not many other options. And hopefully they don't have an answer and this can somehow put me in a good spot. Otherwise I will most likely lose. Yeah, Solar is the perfect answer to the Archmage. There's no question about that. Sun Petal Groove, alright. I do have a 2-2 that does nothing else. If my opponent attack with Thragtusk, I might just double block with the Manifest and the Sadir, as I don't really need those. Don't really want to take 5 for no reason. Yeah, I think it's fine. I don't want to lose my Whisperwood Elemental. And I just don't need the mana from the Sadir anymore, so... I guess I'll untap a Tropical Island before damage. I don't think it's gonna matter, but... it could, I guess. Is there anything that would make this useful? I don't really know. I might just die from 2 flyers, though. I don't have good answers to that. I guess if I draw white, I have the Dragon Lord, which should be pretty good. And it seems that my opponent doesn't have answer to creatures. Otherwise, they would have killed the Elemental, I would assume. If my opponent does have a counterspell in hand, I don't think... yeah, I don't think I'm winning this game. The Sower was just too good here. And there's not much I can do about that. Alright, well, Elfbleth is definitely not gonna make me able to win. They can just kill my Whisperwood Elemental. Alright. Good news is that if I somehow manage to draw white here, I can play the Dragon Lord and maybe be in a good spot. Or I can draw a white spell and just straight up lose. Alright, alright. Yeah, alright. I will just cast Frailties to get my Glen back, if my opponent chooses to sacrifice it. Otherwise, I guess I'll put an elf onto the battlefield. It's not the best thing to do, but there's just not much else I can do. Yeah, Sowering Glen Elendra is not the best, because if you sack it, obviously, I mean, if they sack it, I get it back, but it's pretty good because if I have any removal for the Sower, they can just counter it and still, you know, get value. And alright, just attacking me. No respect for Frailties. I think I will just save damage here. But given what I have in my deck, I don't think there's any way I can come back in this game, unfortunately. I mean, if I can cast the Dragon Lord, and they don't have any way to deal with that, maybe. But it's not very likely, because they can just jump block a few turns, and after that, use the Elspeth effect. Yeah, I think at this point I can just concede. Alright, well, the Sower onto the Glen was pretty unfortunate for me. Not much I can do about that. And, yeah, I mulliganed and drew only blue and green sources and white spells, and 2 of my 3 white spells, so that game was not going too well for me. Don't think there's anything I want to change. Tech Edge could be decent, given what my opponent showed, which is some quite costly spells, as well as a 3-color mana base. I think I might want that. Also, my mana base is pretty good in general, so I think I can afford to play it. I will probably cut an island, I have enough blue. And yup, I guess this is gonna be it. Alright, well, that Sword of Temptation was a beating. And yeah, I would assume that it's probably the only card in my opponent that could really be bad for me at this point, because so far they mostly shown Planeswalker, cantrips, and only 2 creatures. So and they just played the Thragtusk. So I was pretty much assuming that by playing Glen Elendra I would lock down their hand, but it just turned out to be wrong. And yeah, in general my draw was not so great. Yep. I mean, this is Magic. Some games are not so interactive. I guess game 1 was not really interactive too, but it's just because of one card. And again, as I was talking about at the beginning of game 2, I definitely think that not banning, but just removing opposition for the legacy from the legacy cube would be good, because it's a strong card. It's quite fun to play with. It's not the most funny card though. I mean, I do like it mostly because it's strong, but it's not the most funny card to play with, and it's definitely not fun to play against, and it's just overpowered. So yeah, I would definitely advocate for a ban of that card, but it has been in this cube for ages, so I guess it will stay. Alright, that's a decent keep. My mana is not so great, but I do have each color I need, and I do have a Lotus Cobra, so I should be able to cast most things. Alright, well that would have been better on turn 1, obviously, but not much I can do about that. At least if I draw a Forest next turn, I can cast both Oran Viper and Llanowar Elves. But yeah, that was slightly clunky. Temple Garden, sure. Yeah, Oran Viper on turn 2 against my opponent would have been great, I think. They add the Tomb each game, which is pretty good. Like, I'm not like aggressive enough to make the damage too bad for my opponent, and 1 mana acceleration is really great for them. Like a turn 2 reach is pretty good. They will be able to cast a 5-drop next turn. Yeah, that's just very good for them, not so good for me. Especially when my draw is not so fast. So we'll see how it goes, but well, my opponent deck is definitely good, and yeah, things have been slightly clunky, as I mentioned, so far. Oh, yes, definitely. That was a good draw, though. I have a bunch of double green spells. It means I can cast both Viper and Elf now, and it means that I will be able to cast Frails next turn, so it was solid top deck. Alright, well that would have been... Well, actually... Well, I would rather have casted that on turn 1, this on turn 2, and, you know, draw a card of that and cast the Lotus now. But it is what it is. I just lost a card in the process. I would have been able to attack with both of these this turn if I had cast all the elves on turn 1. So, yeah. You exchange the elf from the Lotus in my hand, and I get 1 more card out of the deal. Which is pretty important, but you know, it's just a sequence of the card. Wall of Omen. Alright, well that doesn't deal with Oran Viper too well, given it has not really Death Touch. It's a bit different, but you can call it Death Touch, I guess. And I do have a Choni either way. Alright, my opponent kept blue, double, and colored mana. Voyaging Satyr was not a good draw. Should I attack first? I don't think my Cobra is gonna die in the attack. I don't see anything that could kill the Cobra. And in general, you rather attack first, so I think I'll do that. They might either trade the wall with the Viper or block the Cobra to take less damage. Alright, well that's fine. I guess I might have a counterspell, but I will still run Frailes. It's not the most threatening or important card of my deck, so if they have a counterspell, I don't even mind that too much. And if they don't, it's pretty good just to have that as a threat onto the battlefield and start putting elves and, you know, maybe drawing cards later on. Alright, sweet. Yeah, should be able to draw a bunch of cards of that if I can ultimate it, which is good. My opponent can play Elfblad there. If they play Elfblad and put 3 token, that's definitely not gonna be good for me. Because Frailes is never ever gonna beat Elfblad. And I don't have match that actually can deal with Elfblad in my deck, so that's my biggest fear here. Yeah. A turn 4 Elfblad is not gonna be something I can beat, I don't think so. Alright, Banisher Priest is fine. Since I do have Journey to Nowhere, I don't care about that too much. And I would assume that if they add Elfblad, they would have played her. Maybe not, but probably. Alright, then Protector doesn't look great. I don't have anything in my graveyard. I think I will remove this priest and get my Viper back. It's not the most threatening creature, but I kind of like having the Viper here. My opponent managed to block once, and here it does have, you know, enter the battlefield sickness, so I'm not able to draw anything of that yet, but I should at some point. And next turn, I will be drawing 6 cards, most likely. If they have a counterspell here, I don't care, like, feel free. That seems weird. I understand that Exclude is a card that you kind of want to cast as early as possible. I mean, it's different from other counterspell because you draw a card and you kind of want to get value out of it. And maybe my opponent is looking for answers, but still, like, that thing is bad. It's basically what my Planeswalker produce, and I might have some much more. I mean, I will probably be drawing cards next turn, so. Not sure how right it was to counter my creature. Well, I guess they are at 6, so there is also the threat of just dying off the board. Yeah. I mean, my deck is not really aggro, but because of the Enchant Tomb and the fact that I have a bunch of tokens, my start was actually pretty aggressive. That doesn't sound very good for the opponent. I think at this point, one of the only cards that can really put back my opponent into the game is Elfblad, so I'm not sure. Alright, Sower, but they went to 6. They can steal my Viper, but I will still be drawing 5 cards. You know, with my draw step and Frailes. I don't think I will play Den Protector first. That doesn't seem good, especially since I will probably be wanting to cast things that I will draw, and 4 is already quite good. Alright. That was decent, I guess. Not the most exciting draw of my life, but no, it's not bad either. So if I attack with everything, they can just block here and go to 4, and that's not good for me. So I guess I will just play my Dragon Lord, and hopefully my opponent does not have a removal, or worse, even worse, an Elfblad in hand. But yup, not much else to do. My draw was not so great. I drew 3 land out of the 5 card. I mean, it was not bad either. It was kind of medium. I guess if they have a removal that puts the Dragon Lord into the graveyard, I can get it back with Den Protector. They are at 6 life. I do have a decent board presence, so I'm still in a decent spot. And if they don't have a removal for the Dragon Lord, then they cannot kill Frailes yet. Yeah, that's that seems fine for me in general. If they attack with a Viper, I will most likely trade one of my elf for it by triple blocking. Don't think there's much that punish me from doing that. And given that I just used my journey, I don't have any way to deal with the sower anyway, so getting rid of the Viper seems fine. I would trade it for one of my elf. Alright, let's hope that this is not Elfblade. Jace is good, like pretty good, but a bit worse than Elfblade. Ooh, draw 3? Well, that's weird. I would assume that they would bounce the Dragon Lord and kill Freyalise. I mean, unless they have a unless they already have a removal for the Dragon Lord, that seems like a weird and maybe potentially a misplay. I don't know. This denies me a lot of tempo, and this gets rid of my Planeswalker, so I don't really see... Yeah, unless you already have the removal, that seems like a very, very risky play. Especially since I can kill Jace next turn, most likely. That was fairly weird. Again, this matchup doesn't feel very good for me. My open deck is very good, pretty decently geared towards beating mid-range deck like mine, so yeah, I don't like my chances too much. Thragtusk, well, I don't care about that too much. No problem. I mean, it's life for my opponent, but it's not really an issue in general. I will just put an elf. Drawing a land here was bad, obviously. Well, I guess I can cast that now. I don't really have any reason to wait. And since my opponent is not gonna die from an attack with everything, I guess I can kill Jace now. I mean, at least try to kill Jace. And if they choose to chump block, I get back my Viper, which is good. Either way, I will gain 5 life. Attack? No, I don't think attacking them is gonna be better for me. Alright, I don't mind that too much, honestly. I don't think that playing Den Protector is great, because my opponent could very well have a Wrath effect, and I think a Wrath effect is the only way they can, somehow get back in the game, so... I guess a Wrath effect or Elfblast, otherwise it's gonna be fairly hard for them to come back in the game, so... Alright, well that's one less threat in their hand, I guess. But my opponent seems to be fairly desperate to find things. Which is the reason why they kept Jace and are doing things, I guess. So, barring some Wrath effect, my opponent is gonna take... If they don't brainstorm and bounce my Dragon Lord, they are gonna take 9 next turn. So they need to either get a removal or a blocker, otherwise they are just dead on the board, right? Well, now that they did not bounce that, they need a removal for that, and they would die from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. So I do have just perfect lethal damage onto the battlefield. So even if they find a way to deal with Dromoka, they will not be in a great spot by any mean. Surprised that they did not bounce that. I mean, I'm not my opponent. I don't really know what he or she has in hand, but I'm not sure that they play Jace in the best possible way. Yeah, I think getting rid of Freyalise and bouncing Dromoka would have been better than most things in general, but they deny the possibility Not the possibility, but they did not do that. Alright, pondering apparently. And now my opponent does only have, well, 6 mana. That's quite a lot. What would Elspeth do? Elspeth would not do too much, because if my opponent chooses to destroy a bigger creature, I can kill them with the 9 damage I was talking about before, and if they choose to make token, I can kill them with the flyer, so Elspeth is not gonna save them at that point, especially not that Elspeth. And I guess they had 5 mana left, not 6 either way. Alright, well, I guess you are dead then. Am I mistaken? So they go to 4 here, then they block here, 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 and take 4. Alright, I guess that's gonna be game. I'm just gonna count again. So this is 5 that they cannot block, then they block here with 2 power, 2 power, 2 power, and 1 power, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4 more damages. So yeah, that's game, unless I'm really bad at math. This should be perfect lethal damage. And even if it's not, I will still be in a very solid spot. But most of the time I'm not too bad at doing math, though. I would assume that this is lethal. Alright, 0. Well, I finally drew a card of my Viper, I guess. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this game and the whole match, and I see you guys for round 2.